Hello, my name is Chris Kolick. I'm a senior computer science student, and I'm going to be talking about my final project for CS 4550, which is called Terminotify. So, Terminotify is a web server and front end for a project that I had previously been working on. Um, it's an application and a library to help uh, mobile application developers track statistics on crash reports. So when an application crashes, a report is sent to the server that I've created here and displayed on the website. So I previously designed the library, and this project was an extension to help actually aggregate those crash reports. So if this sounds similar, it's probably because you've heard of Crashalytics before, which is a website that does the same thing. So they have libraries for various mobile platforms that you can integrate into your applications, and when your application crashes, it sends up a report which you can view online. And so I wasn't able to achieve the same level of detail that they have, obviously, but there's some features that I had wanted that I was able to implement. So let's take a look. So to start off with, the front end of my website is AngularJS and Backbone, and the back end is Node.js with MongoDB and Mongoose for persistence. The data model that I have constructed, you can see here. So the highest level is a company, which has a collection of roles, users, and applications. So roles are basically a container for permissions, so that they determine basically what group of users can perform what actions. Permission is basically just an action and a target entity, so could be to create an application or delete a comment or edit a user, so stuff like that. The user is pretty simple with all the personal information, username, password, first name, last name, contact information. An application is a substructure of a company. So an application has multiple versions. So as an application developer creates new versions of their application, there's a version entity to match that. Each version has many crash events. So as crash events are reported, they're collected into the version that they belong to. And then each crash event has comments that a user would create online to discuss a certain crash event. So let's take a look at the application. So this is the screen that you see initially when you're not logged in. So we can try just a dummy username. Won't find it. We can use one that I've created before. Don't use the right password. So we're just going to create a new user. So call it sample. So fields are validated as we go, so there's a minimum length here that we can see. Also, if I try to use an existing username, I can't do that either. And also same for this, so if I try to use my existing company name, I'm not allowed to do that. So we'll just call this demo company, and then we will register. So we can see initially we don't have any applications. Along top we have this drop down for the company and our profile. Profile just shows some simple information about ourselves. We'll come back to this a little later. So we'll go to our company, and we see we have one user and one role. So we're that user, and we have that role. So we can edit this role. We can remove ourselves from the role. We can change permissions. we can create a new user. So we'll call this one sample. So sample 2. And we'll add it to the admin role. We don't have any applications right now, so we can't add any. And we'll save, and we see that that's added to our list here. If we go back to the admin role, we can view that, and we see that we have our new user. If we want to remove the user, we can do that. Let's save it. And if we take a look at the user again, we can see that they're no longer in the admin role. Now let's look at applications. So we have no applications, so we need to create our first one. So we'll do that. We'll call this Terminotify Demo CS 4550 Final Project Demo, and we'll add ourselves as a user of this application. So we have that. So the important field that's created and displayed here is the application ID. So this is what the library that I've created before uses to identify the application and collect reports into that application. So now if we go back to our dashboard, we can see we have the new application. We don't have any versions yet because no crash reports have been sent up. So what we can do is I've created this kind of like test application that just uses the library that I've created before to create some crash reports. So the important part is the application ID that we grabbed before. We can see that we're going to create a version 0.1.0 with build number 1, and we can see we're pointing to the web address of our service. So it's not important, but we can just see that there are a couple fields that I've set, like key value pairs, so time zone user, and a new one course. Logging a couple statements, which basically just timestamps strings, and then we report a couple exceptions. So when I run this, we should see this on the website. So we can see we're sending some crashes. Go back, and now we see that we have some crash reports. So we'll take a look at one. So we can see the application, the version number 0.1.0, like we said, build number 1. It's not a fatal crash as indicated by the severity. We can see the cause exception that was thrown. It's a null pointer exception. We can see the stack traces of threads that were running at the time. We can see the those timestamped strings that we logged, as well as the key value pairs that we added as well. So we can go back, and these are all virtually the same, but slight differences, like the statements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just to show that off. So we have all these different reports. So what we can do is add a comment as a user. So I'll say, "What's up with this?" Someone might respond to that later on. So we can see that the user that added the comment, the link to their profile, is put into the header of the comment, and to match that on the profile, we see the latest comments that they've come up with. So we can see I commented "What's up with this?" on this crash report. We can add a couple more, like another and that just keeps getting added. So in our profile, we'll just see a couple of the last comments that we've added as a user. We can do that for any other user as well. So sample 2, they don't have any roles or applications or comments right now, but we would see that here if that was the case. So we can see we also have some pagination here. So we don't have many crash reports right now, so let's just fire off a couple more to try that. Create a decent chunk here. Refresh. See that we have a couple new pages here that we can go to. We can change the events per page, see a couple more. We'll see all of these. We can just do that. So we can see we have all these different reports, all virtually the same, just because the information isn't changing. But if it were, we would see them all here. And then if we create a new version of our application, so let's say we're going to 0.2.0, and we create a new report. See another version here with our new crashes, and that's reflected there. So basically, we just have a breakdown by application version to see all these different crashes. So there are a couple more additions I'd like to make to this project that I think would make it a lot more useful, but for the time being, I think it does a pretty good job of aggregating this information, giving you good control over the library that I created. All right, and that's it. Thank you.